Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, April 7th, 2015. This is Talk to Me Tuesday, number 182, and a belated Happy Easter to everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful day. Myself, I wasn't feeling all that great in the afternoon and evening. We won't go into details as to why, but let me just say, video games are not for me. So, anyway, thanks to my wonderful daughter, we did end up having an excellent meal that day. She took over and ended up cooking everything except for a couple last minute little things that I helped with that she wasn't sure about. So, yeah. So anyway, very big thanks to her, but I hope you all had a wonderful day yourselves. So we'll get right into the crafty. I don't want this to be any longer than it has to be. So first up, speaking of Easter, I showed a couple little bunnies that I was working on last week, and I did mention that I didn't like the way the ears were done, so I changed the way those were done. Then I wasn't really too happy with the way the bottom was closing up, because these bunnies can actually be put over a plastic Easter egg, or they can be stuffed, and I prefer to stuff mine, so I had to make some changes. So first thing I had to do, I'm going to show you. This bunny here is done. I wasn't happy with the size needles either. Thought they were too big. So this bunny is changed in the fact that I used a smaller needle with the worsted weight yarn. It does have the change to the ears that I made, but I don't like this. I don't know how well you can see. I don't like the way that closes up. As you can see, got this kind of like ridge. Didn't like that at all, so that was something that had to change. So that was the next thing I set out to change after changing the ears. So this bunny has two changes to it. One, I said there's got to be an easier way to do the ears than sewing them on. And two, let's try and cast on fewer stitches to make the closing easier. So this is the next bunny. This is the change to the bottom. Still not happy with it. Still a little wonky. Don't like the way it closes. But the change I did to the ears on this one is I actually picked up stitches right from the body of the bunny. And if you can see the difference in the two, the way the ears sit closer together, they look a lot neater. Yeah. So this bunny had a couple changes to it. Then I said, still not happy with the closing on this bunny, so got to change something. And I decided, you know what, revamping the whole pattern, did my own way of casting on. All I'm doing is stuffing it. I don't need to worry about it fitting over a plastic egg. So here is the final product. And this bunny actually has a nice smooth bottom and body. And then of course the ears are worked right off the body itself. And my daughter says that this reminds her of Piglet because of the colors. But this is the final outcome. I cast on 6 stitches. I do a couple quick increases, straight row, another increase, work the body, stuff it, close the top, and then I work the ears right off. And let me tell you, they work up so much quicker. And the last thing to do with Easter was for poor Miss N. Little Miss Nemaria was walking around looking a little depressed because she didn't get anything, so I made her this. All it is a little knit Easter egg that is stuffed with catnip. And I don't know if you can tell, she has played with it and had a good time. In fact, I actually found this stuffed in her, what do you call it this morning? In her food dish. I fed her breakfast. I go back out to the kitchen a few minutes later, and I found this egg in her food dish. I took it out of the food dish, gave it to her to play with. I go in, I take a shower, I come out of the shower, the egg is back in the food dish. I think she figures the egg needs something to eat. Or it's just her way of not losing it. But so that's it for Easter. Next thing I'm going to share with you is some stitch markers. I mentioned last week that I have a specific type of stitch marker I like to use. The reason I like it is I find that the stitch markers that use jump rings and wire, my yarn tends to tangle, get caught in the wire. Don't really like that too much, so I need something that's nice and smooth. So I'm going to show you what I prefer. Here's one, and they're kind of tiny, but as you can see, whoop, you have this bit of wire, then you have the beads, and you have a little crimp at the bottom. This is what I use for it. It's a very thin beading wire, and I mean very thin beading wire. I don't know if you can see it because the light on my thing changed. Let's see if I can get that back. So yeah, very thin beading wire. It is wrong side is a 0.3 millimeter silver beading wire. It almost has like a plastic coating by the feel of it, but it's a nice smooth wire. And all I do is I just cut a piece, hold it in half, string the beads on, little crimp on the bottom, cut the wires off at the crimp. There's nothing to snag, nothing at all. So that's one that I've done. Another one I can't show you because it's on a project, but here's a couple more that I've made, and these are not mine, they're for someone else. So I did one little change. I put a crimp at the top before I actually strung the beads on, and then I put a crimp at the bottom. That way you don't have to worry about the beads coming off. But look at that. Nice and smooth, not a problem. And I also made this one, which I think is very, very pretty. They're actually coming up pretty nice on here. So that's it. And the only difference, these are for knitting, and then I did two others for crocheting. And the only difference between them is this. I put a lobster claw on the ones for the crocheting. These can also be used for knitting as well, for just placement markers. But there's that one. And then I have this one. Whoop, hold still. Which actually has a bead right in the center there. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. So really cool. So those are my stitch markers. And I do have one other, which is hanging right here. It's a really pretty pink one. Kind of hard to see, but this is the next thing I'm going to share with you. This is what's called the Handbrake Cowl. This is a pattern that was created by Kay and Dan Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. And this is a special pattern in the fact that any of the proceeds will go towards cancer research, because Dan was diagnosed with cancer last year. This is a pattern that kind of came about in his mind, and his wife, of course, sat down and helped him draw up the pattern. Simple pattern, easy to do. Holy cow, it's totally amazing. I cast this on yesterday, and I'm that far through. It's got a really nice pattern. You really can't see it right now because I've just really started. And I actually cast on 40 stitches more than the pattern itself requires. But really simple, very easy. It cost £1 or $1.54 US dollars, if you're wondering. Very, very simple. You can work on this. You don't have to pay any attention. I'm working on this thing and I'm saying, holy cow, I'm already back at the beginning. I just started this round. So very, very simple. You'll love it. If you try it, you will love it. And if you're a beginning knitter, it's not a problem. You purchase the pattern, and there's actually video tutorials that go along with the pattern. So really cool. But it's called the Handbrake Cowl. You can find it on Ravelry. I will put a link in the description so you know. But definitely go check it out. It is well worth paying the $1.54 if you're in the US, the pound if you're not, or whatever conversion it may be wherever you're at, but it's well worth it. And like I said, all the proceeds for the sale of this pattern will go towards cancer research. So really good idea. Other than that, that's it. Ouch. I just hit my hand on the table. So other than that, that's it. My cardigan saw a little bit of love, but not enough to make it worth me pulling out to share with you. We did have a sky Saturday when my daughter and I were on our way to the grocery store, and I looked out and said, wow, that does really remind me of my cardigan. We had nice bright blue showing through, but you had the gray clouds and then the really dark gray clouds. So anyway, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I will hopefully have enough progress done on that to make it worth pulling out next week. I will hopefully have this completed by next week, and whatever else I have to share with you by then. Not sure what it's going to be, but hey, you never know. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderfully crafty week and a wonderfully crafty weekend. I look forward to watching everyone's videos. Switch that up a little bit, didn't I? Losing it up here. But anyway, I do look forward to watching your videos. I do hope you all have a wonderfully crafty week and a wonderfully crafty weekend. And as for me, I'm out. As for you, it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, whatever it is. I really do hope it's a great one. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye!